My friends, I hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are warm. Kicking it fly today, my friends, because today is Wednesday, and that means it's time for Tea with P. So allow me to introduce myself. If you guys are new here, my name is Pigeons, and it is great to see you guys. Welcome in. Welcome to Tea with P, my friends. This is every single Wednesday. I feel so good to be live, and I'm glad you guys are here. Huge shout out to the band. Killing it out there, looking great, sounding great, feeling great. Appreciate you guys. Huge shout out to Mrs. P, jamming out there. Look at her go. Thank you, Mrs. P. You're running things out there, and everything's be running just fine. Good to see everybody in the chat today. Good to see you guys all in the chat today. What's going on? Look at everybody in there, man. Fancy seeing all these flockers, eh? Isn't it? Good to see you guys. Mr. CLTV, good to see you, Rob. Brina's in the house. Brina, good to see you. Joey's here, East Coast. Look at all these members. Thank you guys for all the memberships. Look at this, man. All the members. Thank you guys. Thank you. And the gifted memberships last week. Thank you guys for that. Hello, Remy. Hello, Curly Green. TWP Popcorn. Good to see everybody. Juddy's here, man. Good to see you guys. She's always been a real Radiohead. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? What's up, Jonathan? Good to see you too, my friend. Welcome in. I got quite the show in store for you tonight. We got lots to discuss, man. Relatively quiet time in the nudes, but forgot a story or two last week that I'm going to cover. We're going to be discussing the future of commercial grows, and we're going to be getting into a wonderful discussion with our good man Chris from BlackTieCanna. He's going to be joining us at the top of the hour at the beginning of the second segment. So I'm very excited about that. But before we get into that, I just want to ask you, what are you token on this evening? What are you token on? I want to hear from you, please. What do you got? Wow, TWP with 5 more gifted memberships, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, man. I appreciate you. 5 gifted. Max with a gifted, Small Tubes with a gifted, Junior with a gifted, Remy with a gifted, and Ricky Bobby with a gifted. Thank you so much. Hello, Mrs. P. Out there from the chat, she's waving. She's waving at you, AG. She's waving. Lucky Pat, let's go, guys. What are you guys smoking on? What's filling your lungs this evening? I've been using a little God's Green Crack. That's been my toke of choice over the course of the last couple weeks. I've got some Runts, got some Romulan, got all kinds of goodies, but I've been really stuck on the GGC. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Black Tie made more sense. Oh, what did I say? Lord only knows. I was going to call him. Oh, I see what you said. Triangle Kush for Joey, man. On a roll, you got some Gary Payton, some Peach Crescendo. Oh, Geronimo, let's go. CLT smoking reefer tonight. That boy. Juddy on the chem, dog. That boy. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Noticed when I wasn't token, we weren't getting age restricted. So I'm gonna try to keep my token to a minimum and to only when we've got the guest up speaking and I can hide it from y'all. Okay. Want to give a huge shout out to my patrons, guys. Thank you guys for being patrons. We're still lagging a little bit. I wonder what's going on here. Shitty internet. I want to give a huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you guys for all the love and support that you guys have been supporting with over the course of the last forever. Thank you guys for believing in me. That means the world to me. If you guys want to help support the show, you want to have access to behind the scenes, and you want to have access to some content that you won't see anywhere else, go to patreon.com/pigeons420, and you can help support the show, and you can have access to content that's nowhere else. You also have a direct link to my Pocket. So if you have any garden questions, you have any issues, and you just need some help, you can get a hold of me there over on patreon.com/pigeons420. So thank you very much. I much appreciate you guys. Hey, update the ticker. No, it's not bad. Hey, it ain't bad. Isn't that a little thing there? Hey, shout out to you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you. I want to remind you guys of a couple things. First things first, there is only 1 month left to join the Growers Gauntlet, my friends. If you aren't already a part of the Growers Gauntlet, you're going to want to go and check that out. I get asked under every single video, how do I join the Growers Gauntlet? You go to growersgauntlet.com. Okay, go to growersgauntlet.com. I got a little video for you here that's going to kind of put it plain Jane English for you. So here you go.
6 teams, 18 genetics, 3 winners, 1 champion.
And there's some pretty sick prizes as well, so you don't want to miss out. There's only 30 days left to join. These are the prizes.
Do you have what it takes to win the Growers Gauntlet? Earn the championship to receive not only bragging rights, but you and a friend will also get an all-expenses-paid trip to Humboldt County, California, to tour the Humboldt Seed Company's farm with all of the team leaders for an unforgettable experience. Second and third place will receive some amazing prizes, courtesy of our partners, AC Infinity, Growers House, Seedsman, and of course, Stash Blend. Join the Growers Gauntlet now and choose your genetics. The deadline to enter is April 20th, so don't wait. Visit growersgauntlet.com to join if you have what it takes.
Hashtag Team Pigeons. Hashtag Team Pigeons. You guys want to make sure that you're checking in on that, getting into the Discord, guys. I think we're well over 600 participants. 600 participants already. So go get in on that. 2024 is going to be a wicked year when it comes to community involvement, community participation, chances to win prizes, chances to win trips. This is the year to be involved in the grow world. So exactly 1 month from tonight. Isn't that wicked? Isn't that crazy? So go get in there. Go get in there. I want to mention that. And actually, guys, there are other competitions that are going to be taking place as well that we're actually working on in the back end of things, trying to make it so that we can make it so people win all kinds of goodies. So stay tuned for that too. There's more things going on. And then on top of that, you've got what the boys are doing over at Homegrown TV with Lord of the Lemons, Battle of the Breeders. It's just so much going on. What a great time to be involved in the community. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys. I also wanted to give a shout out to AC Infinity. I actually just got my good time to switch the camera angle here.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the light.
I got a package from ACI here, and I'm going to be opening that up a little bit later. Maybe today, maybe tonight. We'll see. I can't wait to show you guys. We'll have to grab the letter opener and then and check on this. But maybe we'll do this a little bit later. So stay tuned for that. Oh, shout out to AC Infinity hooking me up with all the cool stuff. They hooking me up with all the cool stuff. Yo, and a huge shout out to 702 Exotic. Thank you for that. Thank you for that $2, man. I appreciate that. Cam Z, caught alive. Cam Z, your name was on the bottom of the screen just a moment ago, bro. Yes, it was. So yeah, thank you guys. Shout out to you. Shout out to ACI. Shout out to everybody. What's going on? My tent looking lush, looking wonderful. Got the Northern Lights, the Chill Out OGs, and the Veg tent working wonderfully, and it's fantastic. So very excited about that. Wanted to jump into the nudes, ladies and gentlemen. There's a few things going on, some things that I didn't cover last week, but nonetheless, a conversation to be had, and this is the town square to which we are going to have it. So let's jump into the nudes, ladies and gentlemen. Canna News. All things culture, science, and health. Your one-stop shop for all things Canna News. Got Mrs. P working on like 75 things in the back, not paying attention to the one thing that's important. So don't worry about anything that's getting messed up because I got to work in overtime, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the nudes. Okay, there was a story last week that I actually put in the title of the video, and I didn't add it in to the story or into the show, and I feel like it's important enough to cover, so we're going to jump into that. And that's the story that TMZ is covering, and there's a few other outlets that were covering it as well, but they were going to make me pay to read the article, and I said no dice. So TMZ was free for me. Fat Joe, panel and discussion with Vice President Harris. Cannabis, healthcare, criminal justice, and more. Is this big? Let's talk about it in a sec. Fat Joe's rubbing elbows with some of the top politicians in the country, specifically Vice President Kamala Harris. Kamala. And he's sharing his solutions for some of the country's greatest issues too. The outspoken rapper met up with the VP on Friday afternoon and led a panel regarding criminal justice reform featuring Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear and White House Director of the Office of Public Engagement, Stephen Benjamin. Oh, that poor guy, 2 first names. The Convo, which featured a few other prominent criminal justice advocates and 3 recipients of Canna-related pardons, lasted about an hour and featured lots of personal anecdotes from those pardoned. We're told that Fat Joe expressed his gratitude for how his journey through hip-hop had landed him in a close relationship with the vice president, who he apparently met through his healthcare reform group Power to the Patients. Harris isn't the only exec who Joe's spoken to in the recent days. The Bronx-bred rapper also caught up with President Joe Biden himself following the president's State of the Union address, which took shots at the former president, Donald Trump. Essentially, they're going to be sitting down to have a discussion in regards to Canna reform, the idea of descheduling. This is, in my opinion, nothing more than a political stunt. This is a photo op. This is nothing. I don't believe anything is going to result from this. The pardons that the current president, displayed earlier this year or at the tail end of last year were petty. They were minimal at best. There are still a ton of people that are in prison for very minimal or very weak charges related to use and possession. And the pardons that came earlier were pretty weak. And as I've stated, I am so very skeptical when it comes to any promise that's going to allow for liberty around our plant when it's so close to a time of an election. We had the opportunity to make this an issue all this time, to which was mentioned in many campaigns, but no attempt was made until the very end of a term, to which they're going to try to run off of votes. There will be no, it won't work, unfortunately. Will we see more pardons? Probably. It's political fodder. It's political theater. So we will see more pardons, but I don't see any real movement in regards to reform when it comes to our plant and regulations and descheduling. However, I pose the question off to you. What do you think? Because I'm just one guy. I've got my opinions. I watched what happened here in Canada as the government lobbied on legalizing the plant, lagged on it, waited, and then finally at the end of the first term, said, oh, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it the next time you elect me. And it dragged his feet through the next time and ended up doing it all wrong, in my opinion, or at least full of holes and mistakes, despite the fact we had plenty of examples on how to do it right in places like Colorado. But what do you think? But that's the way she goes, baby. That's the way she goes. When it comes to that's the way she goes, MJ Biz Daily is reporting that Cookies is going to be sued, or is being sued again, by a retail partner in a $100 million dispute. Leading brand Cookies is in a widening legal dispute with its partners in dozens of adult use stores. Cookies Retail LLC alleged in a lawsuit filed in California Superior Court in Orange County last month that Cookies breached California franchise law. made misrepresentations and caused not less than $100 million in damages. The industry entity that the public knows as Cookies is a network of legal distinct companies. Some of those operations include San Francisco Bay Area-based Cookies, SF, are associated with Gilbert Millam Jr., Burner. Others, such as Newport Beach, California-based Cookies Retail, are independently owned companies that, according to court records, signed agreements with Burner to open Cookie-branded retail stores. Cookies Retail's principal is Brandon Johnson, a former retail estate principal who is also the co-founder and CEO of TRP, a cultivation, manufacturing, distribution company that operates stores under other brands in 14 states. According to the January 12th lawsuit filed in California Superior Court, Johnson and Cookies retail signed licensing. Johnson and Cookies Retail signed licensing agreements with Burner's businesses beginning in January 2020 that would allow Johnson and his companies to open Cookie-branded stores in California, Colorado, Florida, Massachusetts, Oklahoma, and Oregon. To do so, Johnson's Cookies Retail invest over $100 million. Since then, according to the lawsuit, Cookies Retail has discovered countless lies, blatant misrepresentations made by defendants about their businesses, including the profitability of Cookies stores, the cost to open each store, and defendants' illegal self-dealing. The suit alleges violations of state and federal franchise law and fraudulent misrepresentations and claims at least $100 million in damage. The amount Cookies Retail alleges it invested in 33 Cookies branded stores it opened across the country. We'll see how this follows. This is something for the court. It's not the first time that Cookies has been sued. In fact, I believe it's the second. And I'm pretty sure that... Oh, it's in this article. The second Cookies lawsuit. So the original lawsuit was because of the C in the Cookies logo. And they alleges that Cookie violated an agreement that would offer Cookies Retail exclusive rights to the Cookies' iconic intellectual property, including the strain names, as well as the brand's signature C logo. At the center of the dispute is a corner store front in Manhattan's Herald Square, where an adult use store called Culture House opened the business earlier this month. So, not looking good. Not looking good for Cookies. Unfortunately, the bigger you get, the more you're going to find these kind of allegations, these kind of lawsuits. So, I have no skin in the game in this, so I will keep you posted in regards to one way or the other, but $100 million is quite a claim and could definitely be enough to cripple a company. So we'll see how this plays out. Andre, you think, to be honest, Cookies is overrated. Cookies is all hype. Geronimo says, I'll be straight with you. I'm gonna talk more about this when I get into my planting with P. However, I'm actually a fan of Cookies. I'm a fan of Burner. I understand that, yeah, maybe there's been some struggle. I don't know the whole story when it comes to, I haven't done, say, a deep dive into his childhood and his whereabouts and so on and so forth. However, I am a fan of Cookies and I am a fan of Burner. I feel like a lot of hate that goes towards them is only because he's a big name doing it in our space. And I also know that it has a lot to do with the quality or consistency of product at mass. I know this firsthand. I literally watched Rob go and take a pre-rolled and it poured out all over him. And the reason it poured all out over him because it was dry, it was shake, it was horrible. However, I want to see companies succeed. I want to see people from our industry take advantage and succeed. Really, I do. I don't want to see unnecessary hate. I don't want to see millionaires or billionaires coming from the tech industry or the tobacco industry or the alcohol industry coming into my industry and trying to take over. That's even worse. When I see someone who's probably done a little bit of hood rat shit in his day, our plant was blackballed. It was blacklisted and black marketed. So yeah, you unfortunately had to work in an atmosphere that was a little bit unbecoming, one could say. And so, you know, I am willing to perhaps not overlook, but I am willing to give the benefit of the doubt when it comes to Burner and his hustle, when it comes to providing at mass a brand that people can count on. And people generally do count on it. And there is an excitement. There is a brand there. There's something that people desire. And I do think with given time, they will perfect their product, leading to something that'll be a little more concise. And I'm going to dive into the future of commercial grows after the news. So yeah, that's where I stand. That's where I stand on it. Lloyd, CLT, Rob. But yes. So needless to say, I ask what you guys think. I understand if you don't like them, but I want to believe in culture-built brands. They're not all going to be pretty. They're not. And so let's find some ones that we can stand behind and hope and champion through their downfalls. So that's my opinion, and I'm open to listening to yours. But I believe in the vision he had. I feel like the execution was poor, but it's the Walmart of weed. Shit slips by the wayside when a business grows too large. And Cam, I totally agree with that statement. And in fact, that sentiment kind of echoes what the conversation we had with Chris from Swank Genetics on the episode of From the Stash, where we discussed just that, trying to perfect the burger, the Big Mac across the entire world. You know, it's going to have some variables that one can't predict. But I'm going to dive into that. Very good point. Very good point. And thank you guys for your involvement. I also want to thank you guys too as we proceed in here. I want to thank you guys because I received a comment under one of these videos the other day that simply said, talking about the nudes is a great way to kill your channel. And I thought, first of all, I'm not afraid of discussion. I think they were being more specific about politics, but a lot of the nudes is politics. Weed is politics. There's no way you shape it. Politics has shaped weed. It wouldn't be what it is today if it wasn't outlawed, propagandized, weaponized, stereotyped. This was all done by politics. Almost all of it. So whether good or bad, in this case bad, it's surrounded by politics. So I don't have a problem talking about politics. I am not afraid of conversation. Never been afraid of conversation. In fact, I encourage it. And I want this to be a place where we can have a conversation. And the comments underneath the videos that I've been doing in regards to the nudes have been freaking awesome. People disagree wholeheartedly. They disagree with the way that, not like the way that I've formulated an argument or the way that I've positioned myself. They straight up disagree. In particular, it was the taxes. How, you know, whatever. I am in favor of taxes because you can't get rid of them. Taxes exist. It's either you bitch about it or you just come to terms. I choose not to bitch about it. I come to terms. And so with that, I have ideas on how taxes should be spent. People disagreed with me. And they voiced their opinion. They didn't call me any names. Nobody questioned my sexual integrity. Nobody thought, you know, nobody called me names that I can't repeat right now. They simply just voiced an opinion, and that was it. And then I agree. I was thankful for their opinion. I will do whatever I can to protect people who have an opinion. I think it's important that we have an opinion. I have friends that have died for my right to freedom of speech so that I can hold an opinion, and I will fight for your opinion or whatever. Even if I disagree, I think it's great that we can have an opinion as long as we're not attacking each other. So conversation is great, and thank you guys for being a part of it. All right. That's what I want to say, because I appreciate your faces. However, what are you gonna? I'm about to move to Wisconsin for the hype. You should. Yeah, you should. Yeah, you'll be the brightest thing in Wisconsin, Brina. Okay, you'll be the brightest thing there, girl. Okay. Here's something for you. This is what I wanted to mention to you guys. You know, a lot of the time I just cover nudes that's related to politics, policy, regulation, money, income, the industry, but not all the time am I focusing on the dangers of really the industry, and there are a lot of them. A lot of dangers associated with our community, culture, and industry, and I believe a lot of that is because of the fact that a black market still exists and is thriving because of the regulation that we have today. It's been done incorrectly, therefore promotes the black market. Black market is not safe. Okay, I understand that not all of it. You can't generalize. You can't say that everyone. The thing is that the black market is black because it is not regulated, and the problem with that is that when it's not regulated, companies and businesses don't have access to things that would make businesses regularly safe and function fluidly. For example, security or banking. You know, a lot of these industries or companies that are working within the black market have nowhere to put their cash. So where do they keep their cash? In vaults. Where? In the store or in their homes, which means that there's a large amount of cash in a location that's not secure, that doesn't have the equipment to keep it protected, and so on and so forth. That's a problem when it comes to access to security. You can't necessarily employ anyone to come secure your property. But anyways, I'm going to digress. That's why I don't believe the black market's safe. That's why I think we need common sense and practical regulation when it comes to our plant, so we can just get it out of the hands of the black market. Anyways, that's a much deeper conversation that I am willing to dive into at another time. However, we're seeing things that are happening around, whether it's robberies of dispensaries, typically it's robberies of dispensaries, and we're going to be talking with my boy Chris from BlackTieCanna, and he knows firsthand what it's like to have his place robbed, and that is scary. So I want to share these stories because I just want us to maybe consider this as like a mental rep that shit happens and that we need to be aware of it, and we can't just assume that because our culture celebrates peace, love, and happiness that everyone subscribes to that same thought. Anyways, that's one hell of a long-winded intro for a story that really doesn't even matter. Not that it doesn't matter, but it's. I'll continue. So the News Vatelier. Now this is the article that I could use that wouldn't charge me to read. Is reporting 5 arrests in deadly botched Mount Vernon warehouse robbery, and the marijuana word is in there. 2 men were shot during a botched robbery at a Mount Vernon cannabis and nicotine warehouse, and authorities arrested 5 men for their roles in the murders, authorities said Wednesday. I could attempt to read these names, and I'm going to. We have Lario Contreras, we got Jerpy Diaz Feliz, we have Johan Diaz Feliz, we've got Victor Jimenez, we have Joseph Perez. Were charged for their roles in the robbery gone wrong at the warehouse on South 5th Avenue around 12:15 a.m. Tuesday, according to prosecutors. That was today. This is breaking today. Or yesterday, sorry. About a dozen thieves came to the warehouse that officials said sold marijuana and nicotine products without a license. While employees inside helped customers, the armed men forced them back into the warehouse at gunpoint. At least 10 people have been inside when the shooting broke out between criminals and store workers. A warehouse employee and a member of a robbery team were shot in the shootout. One of the victims died at the scene, while the others died a short time later at the hospital. This is scary stuff, guys. So whether you're working in a dispensary, whether you're a home grower, it's important to take your own security seriously. When it comes to defending yourself, nobody's going to come to your defense. Okay, so you are your number one defender. You need to be aware and alert at all times. That doesn't always work. But attention buys you time. Time buys you opportunities. You also want to make sure that you are, if you're in a dispensary, you want to make sure that, oh man, I don't know. You definitely have the ability to keep yourself well protected. I think in most states in America, Canada, we aren't afforded that same privilege. So, it is very tough. You got to understand, though, that when you're putting yourselves in this kind of situations at dispensaries in unlawful areas or in a black market, this is going to inevitably bring upon a risk that you must be aware of. And I'm not saying that you need to be aware, scared or worried, but being alert and aware at all times is very important. And I just want to remind everybody to be safe, even though our community attributes or at least believes in positivity and love. You know, not everybody has that same thought. So keep your eyes open and be alert. Here's another one for you. I'm sure you already knew this, but more studies are being released. I just noticed that 2 are missing. What, my teeth?
We are having a serious conversation.
We're having a serious conversation.
About the cookies sitting next to you and how you have not eaten them.
Oh my gosh.
And I just noticed that 2 are missing and people are mad that I haven't had one.
You're not having one, first of all.
I just noticed that there
because
are 2 missing.
They're amazing.
I think I deserve one for all the work I do for you.
Nope. She's claiming she deserves one now, guys. Come on, stop this.
Somebody said, fuck this job, take what you want.
Fuck this job, take what you want.
I believe it was Rob.
I believe it was Rob.
Rob just wants me to go work for him.
Rob?
He would give me cookies.
Deadass, what's up with the cookies? These are my cookies from my event. You know, but thank you for asking. These are my cookies from AC Infinity when we were in Vegas. I got a logo. They're both logoed, actually, as a matter of fact.
Oh, you can't see your logo, though.
That's okay. They get it. They know what my logo looks like. It's just on a cookie. Sorry. Everything's backwards to the monitor. But no, I'm not eating them because they were really good. And she does, Pete. Stop it. Stop it. Do it, Queen. Stop it.
I'm just gonna sneak in here and eat one.
Well, it would be worth it because they're freaking delicious. But I would be very upset.
Thanks for rubbing it in.
Maybe we would split one. Maybe.
I could just email Sid and ask her for some of my own.
Yeah. Sydney, we need some Mrs. P logoed cookies, please. So something this is like a no-brainer, guys, but I really wanted to bring this up. Study finds that natural mushroom extract has better therapeutic effects than synthesized psilocybin. Oh, who would have thought the real shit's better than the fake shit? A new study shows that natural mushroom extracts may be more therapeutically effective than synthesized psilocybin, which is widely used in research investigating the medicinal potential of the psychedelic drug. This is so frustrating that they can't even use the real drug in testing. They have to come up with some synthetic drug to simulate the effects and then test that. It's like, oh my goodness. Like, it's really that bad. America, come on, man. This is everywhere for the record, though. But the findings suggest that natural mushroom extracts may offer more potential applications for the treatment of serious mental health conditions, such as depression, post-PTSD, and schizophrenia. The study, which was conducted by an interdisciplinary team of researchers from the go figure, it's Israel, from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem's Hadassah Medicinal Center Brain Lab Center for Psychedelic Research. It's a great name. Who thought of that name? Compared the effects of the natural and synthesized versions of psilocybin, the compound primarily responsible for the psychedelic effects of the magic mushroom. My colleagues and I are very interested in the potential of psychedelics to treat serious treatment resistant. Missed the comma there, my friends. My colleagues and I are very interested in the potential of psychedelics to treat serious treatment-resistant psychedelic disorders such as depression, PTSD, OCD, and even schizophrenia. Study author Bernard Lurer, professor of psychiatry and director of the Hadassah, that clinic that I mentioned before. That's pretty dope, but I am not surprised. Not surprised whatsoever. But I think it's remarkable that the synthetic is widely used in research investigating the medicinal properties of the psychedelic drug. I think that's remarkable. That in order to investigate the properties of psilocybin, governments and laboratories are using a synthetic psilocybin. Like, that doesn't even make sense to me. Like, what a waste of money. Go figure. Everything you've been working on for the last few years, guys? Yeah, throw it out. No. Inconsistent. Doesn't work. It's like, duh. Duh. It's like banging your head against the wall. You know? Was that the last story?
Yep.
Yeah, good, because I didn't delete my stories on here from last week. But that is the nudes, ladies and gentlemen, whether it's the first story, the last story, or anything in between. I want to hear from you. I mention this every time because I think it's very important. I live in a little community in the middle of nowhere, in the center of Canada, under a whole bunch of snow. And I don't always get, I'm kind of like Wisconians. We don't always have the best internet. Or internet at all. So I don't always have access to all of the stories that are going on. I really want to be a messenger for our plant, our nudes, our culture, our science, our communities, our industries, our businesses, our culture, everything. I really want to spread the word, and I want to do it in a way that is consumable and that touches on the greatest variety of topics as possible, that can touch as many lives as I can. And the only way I can do that is with your help. And if there's a story that you would like me to cover, it's important for you to link the story to me. That way I don't have to search the story because, like I said, algorithms are tough to break out of. When I try to find a high times story, if I type in high times and the story, it doesn't even come up. It's not even the first results a lot of the time. High times is clearly, I'm not going to say clearly suppressed, but I wouldn't doubt that it's suppressed to some level when it comes to the nudes. So when it comes to nudes related to our plant, and it makes sense that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to find. So at me, that's the long story short, at me, at Pigeons420, over on Twitter, X, whatever you want to refer to it as. I'm there. I'm fairly active over there. If I'm not bitching at YouTube, I'm bitching at Home Depot. But if I'm not doing that, I'm pretty much diving into community stuff. Like, it's all about weed over there. So yeah, come and check it out. But I wanted to have a quick discussion in regards to the future of commercial grows and my little spice of input in regards to how I think this is how the future should go. So today on Planting with P, we're going to be talking about the future of commercial grows after this. All right, my friends, welcome in. So if you guys don't know, I like to have myself a great conversation over on Twitch, at Pigeons420. That's my name. Everywhere, pretty well. And actually, Rob and I, shout out to Rob, Mr. CLTV and I, we were having a conversation. We talk a lot of shit over there. So if you haven't come and joined the conversation, you're missing out. You're missing out. Because the boy and I talk so much crazy over there. We dive into Lord knows what. I'm not even going to share with you over here because it'd be all inappropriate. However, Twitch is the place to be. At Pigeons420, come hang out. Rob and I were talking, might have even been this morning, bro. Might have been this morning. I don't remember because I'm live so dang often. However, we were talking about commercial grows. And we were talking about how commercial grows are going to sustain going into the future. And since you're much better at coming up with ideas than I am for videos and getting it out, I was like, I'm going to do this one tonight. I'm doing this live. No way he's going to beat me to it. Just joking. And so we were literally discussing that there's a farm close to me that specializes in one particular genetic. It is animal cookie mints or animal mints, and they've been growing it for years, and they're actually really good at it. And I had him and I talking in regards to the difference between monocropping, or in this case, industrial monocropping, versus trying to meet the demand and meet the requirements of as many people as possible. We started to relate it to alcohol, where Jameson, for example, or insert, Morgan, Captain Morgan, or insert Jack Daniels, whatever. Insert your liquor. Generally, a whiskey provider doesn't do whiskey, rum, wine, beer, spirits. They generally focus on one form of alcohol. Take Captain Morgan's, for example. It's rum. You can get different kinds of rum. You can get rum, you can get white rum, you can get dark rum, you get spiced rum, you can get whatever, but it's all rum. And then you can get breezers. And you get breezers. They're rum breezers. They taste like, peach cobbler or whatever. The problem that, in my opinion, companies like Burner or companies like Cookies, the problem that companies like Cookies have is that they're trying to bite off everything. Rather than taking one genetic and really honing in that one genetic, they've got multiple genetics by multiple breeders all over the place trying to produce the same product. Naturally, that's never going to happen. I strongly think that as companies or as businesses start to form, you're going to see that they're going to have one main product. And that one main product is going to be consistent from one place in the globe to the next place of the globe, because they've honed it in. They've got it so stable that you're going to get the same results just about every time. And maybe there'll be some variance, but when you go and you get a Big Mac in Manitoba, Canada, and you drive to or fly down to Vegas or Florida, or you go to Taiwan, for crying out loud, or Japan, you can get that same burger over there. Now, will it have different variances? Will it have different properties? Yeah, slightly, but it's going to be the same burger. And I think that's why, is because we're not focusing on just one particular genetic. We're focusing on a bunch of them. So the future of commercial grows, I think, is monocropping. It's taking one genetic, figuring it out so that you can remove as many variables as possible, and then go from there. If you're going to start with as many genetics as possible and then try to work backwards, it's going to be a lot tougher. So I maybe I'm wrong. However, I think a lot of the problems with a lot of these brands today is exactly what I've said. They tried to bite off more than they chewed, rather than starting small and working outwards. So I really believe that as we progress through and we see the more and more companies coming forward, we're going to see it compared to alcohol, where you're going to see brands. I'm not saying Bacardi only has one genetic or one alcohol. They have a bunch of different alcohols now. They've got one particular flavor or what have you, but then they can mix it in. I can see that as well as on the cannabis side of things, where you have one particular genetic that they figure out so well that then they start to introduce it with other genetics. So that's where you start to get your crosses, where you'll get your product A crossed with your product Y, and then you're going to hone that in, and then that would become your second genetic of offering to the industry. But I'd be very curious. I'd be very curious to see how the next 5 years happens and plays out. But what do you think? What do you think when it comes to the future of these grows? No matter which way it is, as I said when I was referring to Cookies, I want to see these companies succeed. I want to see them move forward. I want them to have an opportunity to thrive, so that big tobacco or big alcohol or whatever doesn't have the opportunity to come in here and wipe us all out, because they've got the money to do so. So let's see it happen. Let's see it happen. What do you think? Growers tend to start at $16 an hour, 35 hours a week with minimum benefits. Yeah, that's crazy. And then again, I think that's because we're in such a juvenile area that, like, the amount of money that's made from those growers is remarkable. But yeah.
And the amount of work that it takes to grow.
The amount of work that it takes to grow. Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot. So needless to say, that's my opinion. And I encourage you to let me know what you think. What do you think? Where do you see the future of commercial grows? Do you see them going bigger, or do you see them going smaller when it comes to commercial grows? Think about it in any form of. I used to work for this a swine barn, which is a hog barn. They only had one kind of pig. It was the pink pig. Can't remember what it was called. It was the pink pig. You didn't see Yorkshires. You didn't see warthogs. You didn't see none of them. Nothing. You just saw the pink pig, and I think there's a reason for that, because Ford works on Ford, Ford, yes, has cars and trucks and electric vehicles and all this. But if you look at Tesla, Tesla only focuses on electric vehicles. And it's working. It's working for them. They're not spreading themselves so thin. I would like to take that and compare that to our industry and hope maybe that with that we can see some progress moving forward. But feeder pigs, yeah. Commercial grows will have a lot to do with legislation and issue permits. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree, Jester. However, my friends, we've got a guest awaiting us, my friends, at the top of the hour here. In just a couple minutes, we're going to be having a discussion with my good friend Chris from BlackTieCanna. I've got the hiccups too. He's going to be joining us. We're going to be having a great discussion with him. So make sure you've got your bongs, got your lighters, got your because that's what I'm going to be doing right away. I won't be, as a matter of fact. Oh, I don't have any lip chap over here, actually. I'm going to need some lip chap too. Boom. Thank you. That was pretty good.
Does it deserve a cookie?
Does it deserve a cookie? She says. The answer is no. She's going to beat me after this, guys. I hope you realize that. She's going to whoop my ass for cookies. Okay? Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I want to remind you guys, if you enjoy these live shows, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. If you enjoy just having a conversation and chilling, I'm live every single day over on Twitch, twitch.tv/FromTheStash. So come hang out for that, okay? Come hang out. I also want to remind you, too, that... what did I say? Oh, my God. Yep, I'm sticking with it. I don't even care. I'm live on From the Stash. Those other two guys, they don't have access to the account like I do. Okay? So follow me. There's something. Seedsman, guys. I want to give a huge shout out to Seedsman, guys. If you guys are looking for any quality genetics and you would like to hook them up, Seedsman is a the latest sponsor of the channel. And if you head over to their website, I'm not going to tell you where to go because it goes against policy. But if you do find your way over there, if you stumbled over there, you can use promo code Pigeons420. I'm very proud to announce that Team Seedsman and Team Pigeons have united, and two great brands working together to spread a great message with great quality products, and I'm very excited to call them a partner of mine. So if you head on over to their website, use promo code Pigeons420 on any of their genetics. They actually just released 17 new genetics, and if you would like an opportunity for a giveaway, if you go to my Instagram, yep, I said it, that's the G word, go to my Instagram. The latest post over there is me. It's like me talking or whatever. It's not my live stream. It's my post. Go tag Seedsman and 3 Gromies, and you have an opportunity to win. I think they're doing like 5 packs of 3 they're giving away and a bunch of merch and so many goodies and so on and so forth. So, okay, go check that out. Oh, yeah, thank you. Rob's got you covered there with some very rudimentary words. Guys, we've got the man himself waiting for us. Let's go meet up with my man Chris from BlackTieCanna. All right, for today's conversation, baby. Team of P. Let's do it.
Come on and live your glass. You want your own free pass to be our guest. If you're stressed, it's fine dining we suggest. Be our guest, be our guest, be our guest.
Buddy? You doing good. How you doing?
It's good.
I hear you fantastic. How's everyone? Can the world hear you okay? Can you hear me okay? Yeah, do you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Good. In a second, it's going to kick into my headphone. For some reason, it always lags for a half second, and then it kicks in.
I'm using these like early 1970s cans now.
I love those, bro.
They got like the curly cord. I had to go and like rush to find an adapter. It was like, this is a much better option than my AirPods.
Oh, man, those are wicked. Those are wicked, bro. I would pay good money for that.
There's a second set I have that are also, they have like slider volumes on the side. They're fun.
Those are wicked. What are those from?
Listening to records and being a dork.
That's it.
That's what they're from. Yeah, like these were thrifted. I think garage sales or something. One pair were my parents. I think it was these ones, and then the other ones I thrifted.
That's wicked, bro. And they're stylish too. They still look like they could do the job. You know, you could roll around on your BMX bike or your scooter or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Chris, bro, it is great to see you, man. I'm so glad that you could come and join me this evening for a great conversation, my brother. We haven't actually sat down and had a great conversation in a few minutes, and it was long overdue.
It's been a couple of them.
Yeah, it has. And I'm so glad that you could join us. Real quick, for anyone that doesn't know who you are, for the couple that have been sitting under a rock for a few minutes, if most people know who I am, they know who you are because you've been on just about every show that I've had, including the show, our own show that we had. But
we hang out every now and then.
Yeah, we'll get there. But who are you, and what do you do?
I get lucky enough to call you my friend. And I own a cannabis retail store in Winnipeg and Manitoba here, BlackTieCanna. You and me have done Highly Motivated together. Spent some time doing that for a little bit as well. But yeah, I mean, that's most of it.
It's been great. It's been wicked. And yeah, you have your own dispensary. Aside from the fact that you're a husband, a father, entrepreneur, doing all the crazies, you do have your own dispensary, BlackTieCanna. And how many years has that been now? 3, 4?
Yeah, well, we've had the license for about 3 years, and I've had the store for about 9. But yeah, we've had the store. Yeah, had the store for about 9 years now for the cannabis license. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Originally as vaping, and then added on the cannabis once the licensing became available, and they opened it up, and we got the opportunity to go for that.
Yeah, and you hopped on that so fast. I remember the conversation while we were transitioning from an illegal to a legal market. I remember the conversations that we were having in regards to the future and how you were like, you know what? I love the vaping thing, but if I can get in on this weed thing, this would be wicked. And I remember your passion for it. And I remember it was almost like one of those it's a dream. It's one of those fantasies almost.
It was the thing I wanted to do in the first place. Yeah, the idea of getting into vaping was this is kind of close enough to the idea I would have for doing retail. And then I got the opportunity to actually do the thing. And we got really lucky too. In Manitoba, we have mixed use licensing. So you don't have to be a straight cannabis retail store. You can sell other things. So I had the ability to add it on to my existing business. We didn't have to stop selling everything we used to or anything. So that was also very handy.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. And watching you over the years as the store has evolved, you have evolved, your awareness has evolved. It's been a wicked journey to watch you just take it all in. From
none of being involved in the retail sector has allowed you to sit still for more than 5 minutes. It's kind of crazy how many things change, how quickly everything continues to change and evolve. Both of the saturation of the market, the evolution of the availability of the products in general. It is the infancy of cannabis's permutation in the market. It is an early experiment what we're dealing with right now. Getting cannabis in more available places is going to change retail models. It's going to be, I think, become a lot more difficult to only be something like that, unless on large scales, and then we're going to regress to, you know, boxer formats, which nobody wants to be completely subjected to that. I think they have to have their place, but I think just like wine stores, specialty cigar stores and stuff like that, having the smaller cannabis store is still just so important. You know, everybody has the decision to create their own menus, and this gets a lot of people that get to communicate in very different ways, and it's great for people to find their niche. It allows them to find their guy. It's not just transactional, and you know, kind of trusting the person you're talking to, and that's important for people to have somebody to reference with.
And I got to be honest, how does it feel to sell people herb legally? You are a legal drug dealer. How does that feel? That's got to be an incredible
Professional
feeling.
drug dealer. Yeah, I get to tell people that. It's fun. It's I mean, it's crazy liberating, and being able to again play in such a very young space, as you're fully aware, is it's interesting because, like I said, everything's changing all the time, and you're getting to see the evolution of the product. Like when I got my license, the quality of the flower that was available in the market was subpar at best. Like there was a lot of trash. The criticism that was taken in the early days was, you know, well suited. That's not the case anymore. There's like too much good weed now. It's you can hit a 30% THC on a board with the dart, and you're on a menu. Like everybody's got it. It's so it's really kind of become an interesting thing where you're now getting to educate guests on, because potency's gone up so much that you're really getting to point them in directions of where they want to go with things. Now, you know, people are more educated on terp percentages as a buying point instead of just THC percentages alone. Stuff like that wasn't happening 2+ years ago, and it's just had to make the overall market evolve, and the consumption of products, how they're consumed too. Like even with edibles, early on, just those straight up THC ones was what everybody was after, and as things have evolved, it's way more of like the 1-to-1, 2-to-1s or higher ratios of like CBD, CBN, CBG. We see way more of that stuff. And so it's just kind of neat to see how that evolves, how everything continues to change. Yeah. It's time.
We went legal in 2018, right? And then you had your shop in 2018, right?
No, not same year.
Or I mean, like, you had the shop before, but when did you get? We
had the shop.
When did you get the permit for herb? Was it like a year later?
2021.
Oh, really? It's been that.
Yeah.
God, I get it so conflated. But it's still been three
it was
years.
Just post COVID. Yeah, it was it was.
Really? You were post? Oh my God! Funny how COVID messed with all of us, bro.
Right? Yeah, like it's been a few years.
Yeah,
it's been a few years.
Yeah, man, COVID messed with me, man. I get my time frames are all messed up when I start to think about that. But so my point was you've kind of seen a little bit of a change in the game over the course of the last few years. Has it gotten better? Has it gotten better? Like the quality of the product, the variety of product?
No doubt.
Yeah.
Quality and variety without a doubt. We've got way better quality of like literally every single category. The demand for the market to like produce something that was going to hold up was there. Like again, a lot of the early stuff just didn't hold up. And nowadays, like, there's just such incredible flower, and so much of it is like legal brands that have come over, like Sweetgrass out of BC. Crunch berries is one of my favorite things about being alive. It's not even like they're most popular, you know, award winning and all that stuff. There's so much of that now. And then even with, you see a lot of the bigger producers that were growing their stuff and weren't doing well with it just started buying and repackaging. So they're buying better stuff. It's just under a bigger brand's name now. So like even that stuff's gotten better. You know, there's a whole conversation about the struggle of producers in general to survive right now and how difficult it is. Some people are making it happen, but it's from what I've seen been very, very difficult to make money in the process. Having quality product, not a big problem. Having the company that grows that stuff make money has been the problem.
Right.
That's been the big issue.
Bro, I don't know about you, but allegedly when I was a kid, I may have tried to peddle a little bit of marijuana. And the big thing that I learned is, bro, there's no money in it. You can smoke for free, bro. Like that's kind of where it's like, maybe it's
like you give yourself not enough credit for the skill for what you produce. Like, here's the thing. In the retail market, do you know that, like, flower continues to drop in sales as a category? Because the top categories are easy and accessible. Yeah. They are pre-roll packages, and they are vape carts. And that's the thing is, most of the open retail market, man, are not that type of person. Their consumption ratings and such are of that of convenience. And that's why, like, the future of gas stations selling you packs of pre-rolls and stuff is there because of the fact that that's where a lot of the market is. A pack of gummies, a pack of pre-rolls, they don't really, the price per gram has become very comparable nowadays for a lot of brands. So it's for most people, they're just paying to pick up pre-rolls every few days. Yeah. And when you're dealing with a market where most of the money is in categories like that, it's like you're saying, like it's kind of a little bit more difficult for those bigger producers because you're not even getting the dollar for your quality eighths anymore and stuff like that. You know, it's a value 5-gram bag that takes a good share of that because you can just get really good flour for really cheap. You know, paying like $25 or something for 5 grams, and it's like 28-30%, 2+% terps all the time.
So if the future is in, like, if the future is in carts and pre-rolls, is there going to be a desire? Like, then like, I just think there's even less money in that, right? So it's like, well, how's anyone making money?
Concentrates isn't hard because you don't need good flour for concentrates. You just need the actual contents of what's in there, right?
Sure,
and
good
like,
flour would definitely give you a higher
for like
return.
A distillate, which is right. Oh, for sure. And like there are different styles of carts, and that you do need good flour for. But for the vast majority of the consumer market, distillate doesn't have to be that great. Mm-hmm. Just the nature of it, but it's most of that market, right? So that isn't even something restricted. I've also seen things recently that's going to make things really interesting in a terrifying and exciting way. Health Canada is looking at reports of, I believe it was micrometals or something with vape carts. And vape carts has already been sitting on a very precarious ground, just like disposable nicotine vapes right now with Health Canada. We are mass throwing away batteries, lithium batteries.
Huge.
And with these, you're right, like it's an incredible, and that's a convenience purchase. There's a category of something where it costs you more per volume of the device than it does as a refillable, but the entire market, or not the entire market, but like a large majority of the market shifted over into a disposable because it's easy.
Man, I'll admit, yeah. Yeah, I've moved into disposables because of its simplicity. I can get out of my car, I can walk to my boy's hockey tournament or his hockey game from the car to the rink and just blast off 4 rips of a cart, and that's the easiest form of method. Don't need a lighter, don't need a pipe, barely smell.
Convenience.
Yep, and you go.
Variety and flavor, variety and
I would be
strains and everything.
I'd be very curious as the impact of these batteries, man, because consuming those disposables, I've thrown away. Oh, I have no idea. I can't even count how many batteries.
Thrown away, right? So you haven't recycled them. Thrown them away.
Yep.
And that's the vast majority of how things are getting.
If the internet's going to hold me accountable,
so.
No, I did not. I disposed of them effectively and efficiently every single time.
Yeah. You can drop off your used disposables at Black Tie. We take those to electronics recycling, just so you know.
Okay, that's remarkable, and I love that. And I really feel as if now that I'm an asshole, I need a way to help people avoid throwing out old carts. So it's a message that we need to spread. Do you think most dispensaries take that shit back, or is that just something that you do?
That's there.
Because you got to go out of your way. You got to go out of your way to dispose of those, correct?
Yes.
No one's coming no one's coming to the store to pick those batteries up and take them to Fido.
No, they come home with me.
Okay. Do you repair them or do you recycle them?
No, I take them to the recycling.
Okay.
People.
He's got I know he's got a small fort in his guest house of batteries that he's made.
Waiting for a chemical fire.
yeah, chemical fire. Yeah, it's the last thing we need, bro. Yeah, I would be interested to know of the environmental impact of these batteries. Yeah, like, is it huge? I'd be curious.
Yeah. And even with the vape carts, like we're talking about, that's just depending on the elements. Some of them are ceramic, but it's just a bunch of metal and glass and plastics that are getting hucked out. So it's hard to. It's just such a mass consumable versus things like. But now, again, when you consider with the regular concentrate market, there's not the diversity of flavors and the convenience. You have to refill the thing, all that other stuff, right? Minor learning curves.
Right.
And that's counterintuitive to the it's for everybody. And what an incredible thing. Now, if there's going to be, we're finding out that there's going to be a bunch of health risks associated with these things, because to be honest, it kind of makes sense. The vape carts we're using, those were originally developed for e-juice.
Right. They were.
So some of these have been modified to be able to run the higher temperatures for your concentrates, but like tiny elements get really, really, really hot and we're huffing the things. So I wouldn't be surprised. I'm interested to see what the report comes out, but that's, I mean, that's going to shift things because we're in a legal market. Corporations aren't going to lose all of that. So what new is going to come to replace that? You're
right. Yeah. How do you replace that? You're right. They're
a big category, and like that's not gonna just leave.
No.
So it's gonna.
Not if you're telling me that's nudging out the rest of the sales, right? If that's nudging out the flower sales, that's nudging out but that's it. That's the sale. We need a healthy alternative, or not healthier, but a far more efficient alternative. Maybe we do away with the disposable ones, and then we just focus and double down on the individual ones.
And then maybe those devices get better. Like there wasn't a lot of good portable dry herb vape devices for the longest time. We were very restricted to what we had available. And that's boomed, right? You were recently talking about that with your Stork and Bickle toys. And I've always been a good fan of Verizon. They're a Canadian company. There's so many players in that space now that even that the cheaper knockoffs from overseas are still a good enough device that it works. And as long as it gets the job done and that's your price point, fantastic. You are now consuming cannabis in a much healthier way.
Yeah.
So it's great that that's accessible there, and so maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe things like the OCAN XL, you run that thing lots, or any of these type of concentrate devices for like shatters and such. Like, they're just going to get better.
Yeah, well, they have
It's
gotten
probably
better.
where that's going to go.
You introduced me to my first machine when you introduced me to the Dr. Dabber. That was the first that we got really excited about. Remember that? That was the Dr. Dabber XL?
The Boost. It was like the Boost, I think.
Boost. Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
Yep, the Boost. And that was huge. That was really cool because, in my opinion, that was the first. That was a long time ago, but that was the first time, and that was before you had your license to sell. That was as you were
before
a
I
vape
even
store.
had the store. I think.
Was it? Was it? No, I think you had the store.
No, I must. Yeah, but see, that's been almost a decade now, so that one's like
right.
Doesn't
I
mean
know.
anything.
I know. That's crazy. Pre-COVID. But anyway, you provided me with my first e-rig, and it was a Dr. Dabber. It was the Boost. I still have it, actually. In fact, and because the glass broke, but I can't use it. But boy, have they come a long way, because that was concentrates. Then the dry herbs were before that. Puffco. Well, you know what? In fairness, I like Puffco, but I'm a Dr. Dabber guy myself. Like, if I had to pick between the two, you set me on Dr. Dabber. Puffco is doing its thing. Don't get me wrong; they've got a very good quality system. Very different. Works quite effectively. I've tried it. I enjoy it. But deep down, I'm definitely I'm a Dr. Dabber guy. I'm a Dr. Dabber guy.
Tiny dabs. This is tiny dabs.
It's just tiny dabs. You're right. Yeah, just tiny dabs. No big deal. But you got me hooked on that.
That was fun, and it's fun seeing those things evolve and come out of the necessity and what's available. And a lot of that was during the concentrate booms.
Yes.
And so that's where we started to see there was a necessity for it. It wasn't just those weird little 510 pens where you put like a tiny little bit and you're just like, and then you get like, okay, I'm gonna reload it, and then you give it to your other friend, and it's like, those are terrible, and nobody should ever use those again. But you don't have to. Like, there's way better options.
Yeah, how things have gotten so much better, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, okay, so I have to ask, what's the best thing? Because man, you have the coolest job. Anyone who's listening, he is a dispensary owner. What do you do to the new product? What's the new product? You test it, right? You test all it. That smile right there. He's like, yeah, damn right I do. What's the best thing about being a dispensary owner? Anything and everything. What's the best thing about it? What's the best thing about being a professional drug dealer?
Free coffee.
Free coffee? Yeah. The people bring you coffee?
No, just at work.
Which, it's not Black Rifle coffee. What is the name of that? Sorry, I ask 100 questions at a time. What's the name of that coffee that you had in local stuff?
We now sell coffee too, actually.
Oh, you have your own coffee?
Fresh bean. I'm working on
forget about them.
Our own beans, but
forget about them.
That's
What's
the whole
your
thing.
coffee?
That's Sheepdog. No, they're a great Manitoba company
They are.
as well too. They do nitro cold brews. They're incredible, and barbecue seasonings, which are also quite delicious.
Yeah, welcome to the prairies. They specialize in coffee and barbecue seasonings. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Yeah.
California coffees.
Yeah. What's the best thing about being a dispensary owner, bro?
I think it's, especially because of right now at this time, it's about getting to participate in the crazy. I think this is going to inevitably get a lot less fun as time goes on. Mm-hmm. Just the nature of new commodities. I there's a lot of us that think cannabis is special in a lot of ways, and it is. But as a thing that gets sold, and as I keep watching how, like, again, the pre-rolls and the vape carts and the Pax edibles are the things that do well here. And I still think the beverage market's something that's going to grow too once it becomes more accessible.
Yes.
But and better companies get involved. But that's the fun
Jones
part.
Cola.
It's just like, Yeah, like, and they've got involved. They made an extra $300,000 last year. It was like, congratulations. They haven't, like, I don't understand. They talked about coming to Canada, and they still haven't entered into any of the provinces here. I
think that's
like,
to change. Maybe you might even be far more privy to this than I am.
I haven't seen anything new.
Okay, we covered an article 2 weeks ago that was about a Jones Cola coming into. Oh man, I don't know if maybe it was just the prospect of joining into Canada, but there was something. Okay. Yeah, there was something.
During their launch, like when they announced that they were entering into it a few years ago or a year ago. Again, what is time? They did say that like their intention, they were going to start in California, and their intention was to come into the Canadian market.
God,
and then I hadn't heard anything since. Yeah, well, they've got they were doing like a So Delicious style gummies, right? And then on top of those drinks, and I think that you add that and have those things inevitably be available to drink at like a Jets game here,
bro. Yes,
or just out at a restaurant or anything like that. Like it's just going to be a thing. And those are the, like, we're even in this province, we're reviewing consumption lounges now. Like there's all these pieces are going to continue to get pushed at and asked for because everybody wants it. And that, that's the fun part. That's the fun part is participating. I enjoy participating in the crazy and trying to get to define what's happening here. And then watching other great people do fun things too.
Yeah, bro. Like you and I are in it. You know, like you and I are in it, and I totally agree with you when you say, when you mention what's the best part about it is being a part of the crazy. You and I have talked about this, and it's like we already jumped that first hurdle where it's like getting in. You did all the bureaucracy. Right. You got all the paperwork done. You've jumped the hoops. You did what you needed to do, and now you're in. You're in. You get to participate in the crazy. And I feel like as someone who's also in just a different segment of the very same industry, it's the the evolution of what's been happening has been so exciting, because to see the participants now, to see the businesses, to see the product, to see the involvement from the community, that is incredible. And seeing
like,
that evolve is cool.
Man,
be a part of
the cannabis industry is the dog sitting in the burning room, everything's fine meme.
Yeah,
it is. You know, it
You're
is.
right.
It is. It is this. You know, all these big, massive trading companies are shutting their doors every other day, and so are the little guys, and so are the medium guys, and that's in retail, and that's in production. And you know, in so many different spaces. So it's just, you're always just like,
it's fine.
You know, like
having the time of my life. Having the time of my life. Yeah.
It's interesting, you know, as you learn, you know, maybe people that you're like, I don't know if you're gonna do well, and they're just killing it, you know, because your early understanding of how this market was going to develop, and there was a lot of this. You know, it was even me being naive of not thinking that convenience was going to win out when I was watching it happen in another sector. And I'm like, no, weed is this is how we smoke, right? Like these are things.
This is
like
what we do.
Even accessories, I'm surprised we sell them, but I thought we would be it would have been a bigger driver of a category than it is. And it's just because most new people aren't buying bongs.
Yeah.
You know, people that you're either maintaining what you're dealing with, right? But it's not, nobody's picking up and starting from a bong right away because they don't have to. Right. I mean, grandma can start day one ripping 90% concentrates. It's just, it doesn't, the barrier is just so easy now, right? Yeah, it's great. Baby. It's like, yeah, exactly. Like, look, it's available for everybody in so many methods, and it's fantastic. You want capsules, you want whatever it is, you know, suppositories. I just got a company that was listed in the province, and they have popcorn and beef jerky, and I mean, we've already had sugars and creamers and stuff, but they have that stuff too. What else do they have? There's a whole bunch of confectionery, like, but it was just kind of, chips, and the chips were made in a chip factory that my wife likes, but I can't remember. I'm gonna go to Mrs. B on this one. What's the chip? No, right? She's got me. It's delayed. I think she's like listening to us in the headphones.
Oh, yeah. She's there, the manager here.
Yeah. No.
Do you want me to text her?
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, she's noticing.
Oh, yeah. Mrs. P was like, "You want me to text her?"
Yeah.
She'll clue it. You'll get it in a second. She'll be
Miss-
yelling it in a
Miss
second.
Finelli's or something.
Oh, Miss Vinny's. Miss Vicky's.
Miss Vicky's.
Miss Vicky's. Yep,
Yes,
Miss
yeah.
Vicky's.
So they're made in the same factory, but they're infused.
Okay.
And so it's like,
dope.
I was like, yeah,
Because Miss
what a-
Vicky's is
diversity.
a kettle cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not them, but it's made by the same factory that makes them.
Right. Yep. I got you.
So I was
yep.
like, like quality chips.
Yeah, quality damn chips. That's so dope. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
it's such an exciting time.
But,
And
like,
you would
in this
offer.
province-
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that in this province, we can convenience stores and stuff. We have licensing and such available for them to be able to sell cannabis. So, like, there's already this one that's downtown in our city that has kind of, they very early on pivoted from just being cannabis and started bringing in groceries, and they ended up working with the co-op program to provide their groceries, and they're downtown in a grocery desert, right? Like, they're servicing an area that desperately needs these type of things anyways. And they're removing like a barrier for people, right? And even in an age-gated environment, whether they keep that or not, they're able to like provide this multi-service and give some diversity, and then it things like that get to help with the saturation that's going on. And also, it's just, I think these, like, that's the future where like cannabis is just going to be everywhere, right? Like, it's going to be, we talk about like, oh, booze might be in grocery stores. Weed's already in grocery stores. Superstore already does it. I think they closed that one location, but like it's a thing. Gas stations are getting it. It's just going to be everywhere, and like we don't even have that with booze.
I know. I totally agree with you. I totally agree. And it's only a matter of time. It's getting more exciting. As time advances.
It's neat. It's such what a neat experience to be able to have that with people that care about the product, and you're also getting this other service from them.
Yes.
And you just becomes this like that's, I think, these community hubs. It's one of the reasons I brought coffee in the store. I'm like, I think just the evolution of really becoming that stereotypical Amsterdam coffee house. I know we can't consume inside legally yet, but creating that atmosphere, providing multiple services, local goods, all this stuff, giving you a reason like to be the guy that you go see for these reasons, because it's not just this simplistic thing. Because otherwise you order drugs online.
Yep.
Pretty easy.
You're right. It's pretty easy, and it'll get done.
Yeah.
What's different? No, that's very exciting. Very exciting. Yeah. The question I was going to ask was, because I think this is pretty rhetorical. You're going to offer chips. You're going to offer drinks. Pretty much anything. Will you say
infused products?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, like we already have beverages.
Right.
We just got a new one that tastes like Mountain Dew.
Is there anything you'd say no to? Is there anything like nah?
No.
You're like no. What about infused CBD condoms?
Like, I mean, there are lubes that we have available already.
Okay.
I brought in a case last year once, and like they took a little while to sell. They weren't like a hot topic thing.
Forget about how they sold. How they feel.
Yeah. And it's fine. It's fine.
Right, yeah. We both have kids, married. There's who's using condoms anymore. But I've heard of like what about CBD pillowcases? We sell those. I guess if there's a fucking market for it, I think there's a market. Like, honestly, I think I know you well enough. You're like, well, if people are gonna buy them, then yeah, I would sell it. Right? Like, why would you say no?
Well, there's things that early on, that's why you have to like remove yourself from when you're building out a menu, because like
That's fair.
capsules, I was like, oh, I didn't like give too much for them early on, and now I see a great use for them even in my own case, especially going out and just having that little time dump of surprise, you're high again a little bit later. And then just for a lot of regular people who aren't exactly consuming the same way I'm consuming as well too, and the variety that comes in that category.
You're totally right, man. You're totally right, because you formulate your menu. It's like, it's no different than when say someone's stocking the food up for a restaurant, or literally making the menu for a restaurant. You have to decide and kind of make the idea of what's going to be hot, what's going to be interesting, what are people going to be asking about, what can I attract the most people with. When you're building a menu, what is that like? What are you looking for?
Yeah, and that's the eternal small shop struggle. Is
you said you remove yourself, but obviously your input's important, because if you like it, I feel like someone else might like it, and if you don't like it for whatever reason, say it just smells like hay, I feel like it's fair to say someone else isn't going to like that either. So some personal element is important, but sorry.
Yeah, my standard is really, it's the value for the dollar. The dollar does what's the value it's providing, and what is that relationship to the rest of the menu too. I don't like a lot of overlap there. I run a smaller menu, and it should be a pretty easy close your eyes and just hit one of them. If you just don't care, if you're looking for something specific, then we can kind of run through it, but it's more about making sure that the people that have $5 in their pocket have something. The person that's like trying to leave with the value purchase, the I want the prettiest looking buds purchase, like trying to cover all of those bases and make sure that everybody has an opportunity to get the same thing.
What speaks to you, man? When you're looking for your particular smoke, people know that I'm like, when I'm looking for, I want funk when it, like nasty. I want armpity, footy, kind of the nasty, and then I want it to hit me like a train. And I know specifically that that's not going to reach to the most amount of people. If someone like, I know that the skunk doesn't always reach the most amount of people. They don't want that. They don't want to open that up and it smells like an armpit, because they prefer something that's a little sweeter. So maybe that's what do you look for? What do you enjoy?
Yeah, I like something. I really, whether it's a little sweeter or it's got a little bite to it. I avoid the peppery a little bit more. I just, the coughing. If it's going to catch me in the throat a little heavier, then that's something I'll push away from a bit more. But I like an uplifting body high. I have to like you said, feel it as though you've thumped me in the chest, but I also have shit to do. So it's just things that like have that little bit of a big kick up to it. Like an orange tings or something, where it's just got that like,
yeah,
smell.
Ka-cha!
Yeah,
bam! Yep.
Right in the jejunum.
Yeah.
A little bit of the extra. But I find if I get too much, especially with high percentage sativas, I sip it like water, and then I've got like I get just like head tired from it a lot. So, I try to stick away from that.
Sorry, I was coughing up a lung, and I realized that you can hear me. They can't when I cough. So I was like, yeah. I'm coughing because I may or may not allegedly have consumed, and I'm dying. And then I realized that you can hear me. They can't. So yeah. So needless to say, he's a little bit distracted. It's because I'm coughing up in his ears while he's trying to talk. So one thing I wanted to talk to you about, bro, is that, I think this was like 2 years ago now, man. You were broken into. You had your place like
like
robbed,
early
man.
on too.
Yeah. And
We were part of a string of guys that got hit in the city very early on when they opened up licensing, and
that's gotta fucking suck, man. How, like, I know you and I have talked about this, so I kind of know the inside, but man, that must have been personal, bro. Violated.
Yeah, it's like it's like, not that it was like to be expected, but you go like, of course.
You really did.
And yeah, no, like it's like, of course this happens. And a lot of that, like some of that is where they focus requirements on security and such, and things that
The
I
front
think
door's
need
not
to
one
be
of them.
taken more. Well, yeah, like
I know that they want you to put a solid door up on the vault. Well, it's not even a vault. It just needs to be a locked, consumed door. You need to have a camera in there. You need to.
they're fine with lockable cabinets. Any like a IKEA cabinet that can be locked in a locked room. So those were a lot of the baseline stuff. That's changed. A lot of that's changed very heavily. Okay. So that's the requirements have gone up, but it was just early on. It was more about like, we got to cover the windows so the kids can't see in. But if you lock the doors and there's cameras in a security system, you're good to go. And so stuff like that definitely needed to be adjusted.
Totally. And just for anyone that's not understanding, you would black out the windows so that children can't see what's going on the inside, because they're clearly dumb, naive, and stupid. But the downside is that when a criminal comes into your store, they can literally lock the door and then hold you up all day long, and nobody would know anything. Anyone passing by would have no clue what's going on the inside when your life is in danger, and so on and so forth.
It's the silliest thing, right?
That's ludicrous.
You just have to explain that, and you go, it seems pretty obvious why that needs to change.
Yeah.
But like some provinces have Alberta, and I think BC did that as well. I don't think BC had that up. I know Alberta took theirs down because they had a string of robberies that were taking advantage of the fact that, like, you just walk in, turn around, lock the door, you control the building now.
Yeah. You control the building now. That's a great way to put it. You control the building. That's crazy. People don't understand that we don't have here in Canada. We don't. I suppose you could keep a firearm on the premises. It would have to be. Well, I don't even know actually when we talk about this particular business. Because maybe
you get like armed security technically as well.
Okay, fair. Okay, but Lord help you, the cost of that. I'm just thinking like here in Canada, you could. I don't know the logistics of whether or not you could keep the two of them together. I know at home I don't have an issue. However, being in a business, I know that let's assume you can. Let's assume the law doesn't say that you can't. That firearm would still have to be unloaded and locked up. So that's the law. That's the law of firearm ownership here in Canada. So you don't even have that as a protection to protect yourself. If people are like, well, have a firearm. Well, I'm not going to tell my friend to break the law, at least in front of the public eye on the internet. But that's legally not an option. Now you're in a cave with a criminal with a locked door. They can't see in. They are probably armed because, believe it or not, criminals don't follow the law, even though your firearm might be there, locked and unloaded. It's like, shit. This is frustrating.
Well, I mean, they had a problem just like we did with liquor stores for a while in Alberta, and then it's lessened and it hasn't been the issue that it used to be. And like with my shop, they did it in the middle of the night, so I didn't. I got the alarm notification.
You weren't there
and watched the video. No, they Navy SEAL drilled out my lock and did the whole thing, and so it that was a little bit of a different circumstance in terms of that, because luckily we haven't had any issues. In terms of that, the community's been fantastic, and I've been lucky enough in the 9 years that we've never had any issues.
Right.
Well,
and
we've
heaven
been-
forbid.
Yeah.
Because he is
Yeah.
heavily armed, and it's loaded, and there are cannons and tanks in the back with heavily armed personnel and
Sure.
helicopters that scout all the time. So don't even try it. Don't
Yeah.
even try it. I actually, you have the footage. Do you mind it? We don't have it right now, but do you mind if I overlay it on the video? Just a little snippet of it of them coming in and taking your shit.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to find it and search it, but so this is the bonus of watching these videos back afterwards, is that I get to edit it and remove all the times we said the C word and all that stuff. So just so they can get a little idea of how scary it is. Nobody was there, thankfully, thankfully that nobody was there, and so on and so forth. Okay, so here I asked you what was the best thing about being a professional drug dealer. What's the worst thing about being a dispensary owner / professional drug dealer?
I think it's just the inverse of the same thing I like about it. There's so much chaos. It is such a burning room of chaos, and there's so much of this. It's regulated industries, and I'm involved in two of them with the C word and with vaping, and those things can change like that, and it has nothing to do with you. It is none of your decisions. It's all regulatory. Vaping's facing a flavor ban and a federal one. And so, if that goes through, that's going to change vaping in Canada quite drastically. And that conversation as part of the vape cart thing too, because cannabis companies are not playing really on par with a lot of these flavors, like how they're supposed to be flavored. There's a lot of conversation because the category is incredibly popular, and so they're looking at it, right? And they're going like, hey, how are you making this taste like root beer with natural terpenes and all that fun stuff?
Right. Impossible.
And
well, I wouldn't say impossible, just we're not there yet.
And like for some of it is being done that way, but there's lots. There's the testing stuff, all that fun stuff. There are gaps in the fence where things sneak through. And as that evolves, which is also exciting too, as we get a more regulated, high quality product, like that's what that's all facing towards. And it's part of the reason we all bitch and complain, but we're just like I said early on, like it's you trip over good weed all the time. Now it's not, if you're going to shops if you're going to a big shop, a big corporate shop, they have purchasers that are making deals with producers and are getting kickbacks. They're selling shelf space. They're doing all the things that like what Best Buy does or what any other big box store or a retailer does. An LG TV's on an end cap because they paid to be there that week for that sale. It's not just because Best Buy thought it looked nice. They're making money off of it, and there are cannabis retailers that operate that like that. And so that's what you're getting available to you if you want to purchase off of dollar, right? Like that's the selection. And then there's where you get into smaller guys where it's just like they're just picking up what they think they want everybody to get and trying things and having more hand-on experiences. And that's where it's a positive of the mix of having those different retail experiences, having these guys in more residential nodes where they can become the more community-centric.
Right. And that's the reality of an ever-changing system that is unpredictable and can essentially go from static to chaos overnight based on regulation and that flavor ban has been around. Like if I'm not mistaken, you and I have been talking about that for like the last 2 years. Go ahead and insert time.
There's been provincial things. There's been early on pushes to have it included when we were first getting legislated and added into the Tobacco Act. So those things were avoided because there was still a lot of uncertainty in general anyways. And as Health Canada's shown with how they've handled all this Zyn stuff, you'll see that like they don't have a clue what's going on. Right? Because they let Imperial Tobacco just totally lie to them, and they're like, "Oh, it's a smoking cessation. This doesn't need excise tax or whatever." And it's like 20 milligrams of nicotine. And like, I know you can get way higher in the States, but that's a pack a day level. Like it's tons. Like 50s tons. You're getting crazy nick buzzes off of these things. Like no one was ever consuming this much nicotine before. And so it's just insane, right? We've just taken this thing to the other levels. And those are some of the, the lesser knowns and such. So, and Health Canada's just let them bring that into Canada without getting it excised and such, and making it just like e-juice is or cigarettes. So they got to surpass all that. And then like they're quoted being like, "We were duped by Imperial Tobacco." And it's just like, how though? Did you even look at it?
Did you not pay attention?
Did you ask any questions?
No,
because they're being allowed to make
money,
millions and millions of dollars off of this.
Yeah.
Like they're making millions and millions of dollars off of this, and the Canadian government's not getting a dime for it, outside of regular, like retail tax. But they should be. It should be excised to be on par with the rest of it.
Why not? Of course.
If we're playing within the system, it should be participating in it.
Of course. It only makes sense. Let's include it like everything else. Now you mentioned, to cap on this, because I want to start, and on a positive note, when it comes to the future of products, where do you mention the cart? You mentioned pre-rolls. You mentioned not necessarily needing the premium product if you're going to do concentrates, because it does the job. Where do you see the future of products and the primary mode of consumption based on sales? So based on what you're seeing for people's consumption, where do you think the future is?
It's going to be between carts and pre-rolls. Like, I mean, those are going to be, it is going to continue along these convenience paths. We'll see how the science and everything of carts continues to play out. But it's the combination of those things too, like infused pre-rolls. Again, you're giving access of these nuclear bombs of things that took us learning lessons and the ability to roll in general, let alone knowing what to do with your keef and all those fun things, or add in whatever other extract you're adding to these infused pre-roll distillates or what have you. And it's, ways to add flavor, all this stuff. It's so convenient, and so much of the stuff now is good. I know we like the blunts that is just, me and my wife just smoked a 1 gram, and it's those heavier wraps. It's not the tobacco leaf wraps, because they can't combine the two here as part of the law. It's currently not allowed to have them both in the same package. So they're, other types of wraps, but hemp leaf and such. And so it's you get, like, it was a sample, but so you just pop the thing open and then it's there, and then we smoked it, and then I came on here, and that was a sample situation. And it's not like I don't roll those things for us at home, but it's hard. That one tasted like root beer. Yep. I didn't do anything. I just opened it. Right?
You know what,
like,
I don't disagree.
How is that not the future? Like, that stuff's going to continue just to get better. Flour's going to continue to get better. That stuff's going to be available for us. My jet's not going anywhere. I don't think it's that they're dying off. I just think that we're also bringing in so many new people that didn't consume before, and we're giving them more options than we ever got to play with originally coming into it.
Yes.
And the healthy person's not going to pick the bong.
You're absolutely right. You're not. They're not. You're right. No, and they shouldn't. In fairness,
it's not even the best value proposition, right?
No.
Like, when you compare to the other types of products that are available,
right? And I'm trying some of these vapes lately. Some of these ball-less vapes and stuff, I don't understand, are wicked, man. Like, they are kicking in the face. So it's like, yeah, you know what? Convenience is going to win. And I do think you're right in regards to pre-rolls, carts, and so on and so forth, because it's convenient. It's easy. take it and leave it. You know, I've had a few. Shout out to Jesse from Toblerone. I had a few extra pre-rolls in my chest pocket, and I've been smoking them outside my boys' hockey game. You know, when we all go outside the rink. I don't care what anyone thinks. You know, if they're all sparking up cigarettes, I spark up a joint, and I just smoke it right there. And it is what it is. I love that, and I love the convenience of just pulling out a pre-roll that's already ready to go, and just go. And you know, I sometimes smoke half of it, throw it away or what have you, but convenient. But
it's cannabis for everybody. It's getting people that would never touch it. It's getting, you know, older generations, people that are, you know, only would buy a bottle of wine. How do you get the soccer mom to buy a pack of pre-rolls? She's not going to buy flour and a grinder and pack it, you know, paper and do all that unless she has the desire to. But she's going to come in and buy a pack of pre-rolls or a vape cart. Or gummies,
and she
whatever,
should,
right? Like
it should be easy.
The business guy, same thing too, right? Picking up a 6-pack of beverages instead of drinking because he's like tired of waking up on a Wednesday because it's playoffs.
Yeah,
and he's hungover. Right? Like it's just there's alternatives and they can fit better into people's lives, and it's more weed. Hooray.
It's more weed for more people, brother, and that's what I like, man. That's what I love, and you are at the forefront of making that happen, brother. Making that happen, man. If there is somewhere that people wanted to reach out to you, because you know, for any reason, where would they do so, my man?
Really through like Black Tie, Charleswood on Instagram's a good way. You can hit me up. Any of the stores' socials. We're on Facebook, X, Instagram. Check us on BlackTieCannabis.ca. You can email us directly there. Any of that fun stuff, the menu's kicking on there and everything as well too for anybody that's in province or like any of the accessories stuff.
Brother, thank you so much, man. This was a wicked conversation. Yeah, living the dream as someone who can do something that so many people dream of doing, and breaking through and doing it and hustling and grinding, man. And it feels great to have somebody who's on the inside just like me, you know. So we have these conversations.
Fun. This is what's made it all fun too, right? Yeah, exactly. It makes it fun to have somebody who's like, it's crazy.
And we can write it off as a business expense.
Yeah, exactly.
Chris,
Weird.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you for joining, man. This was wicked, man. Anyone and everyone should go and check this guy out and go support the cause if you can. I know we got a lot of local viewers, so make sure you go and check things out because he's got it going on. And I love the layout of your store. I love the gentleman. No, I don't want to alienate anyone, but I love the. No, I'm going to rephrase. I love the formal appeal of it, and I love the personal feel of it. And I think when people come in, they're really going to enjoy that welcoming vibe that Black Tie offers. And
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for being on, man. This was, I think, around episode 10. So thank you for being 9. Thank you for being the top 10 for me, man. I appreciate you, brother. It means the world to me.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, bro.
Have a good rest of your night.
Thank you, man. You too. Huge shout out to my boy Chris, man, for being here on the show tonight. It wouldn't be a show if it wasn't for my man Chris, because he's been on all of my adventures, and there's going to be so many more adventures between him and I. I just know it. So huge shout out to Chris from BlackTieCanna. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you, brother. And shout out to him and his fam, who I know are supporting him and his cause as well, man. Shout out to you guys for that episode. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave that in the comment section below, because I'm always open to what you guys are saying or thinking. That was great. Thank you. I'm going to have a little sip of beer. If you guys are just getting here, because I know people have come and gone. If you're just getting here, I will be posting this episode probably tomorrow. Each interview gets posted the next couple days. It's going to be edited. It's going to be refined just so that the algorithm will enjoy it. I can take out the cusses. I can take out all the references to all those things that we can't say because we're suppressed. And believe it or not, it does amazing. Shout out to Rob, our last episode. The live stream itself got 2,000 views, but the interview itself got 5,000. So I think we're on to something here, and I'm gonna stay true to it. So without further ado, guys, these live streams would not be complete if we did not do a community shout out. We have a community highlight tonight, guys. As every episode, I want to try to give back to this community because this community has done nothing but prop me up and create what you see here. So the community highlights are very important to me. So this week, we've got a great one. So stay tuned. Community highlights. Check. Hello, I'm not muted. Okay, welcome to today's community highlight, guys. This one is very special to me, as all community highlights are. I know at a certain point I'm going to have to do some real homework when it comes to community highlights, so I'm going to ask a favor of you to help me out. If there are members of this community that you feel are putting in the time, the effort, the energy to prop up our plant and our industry and our community and our arts and our people, I want to hear from you. I want to know about them. I want to highlight them on this show. Yeah, maybe today we only have 100 people tuning in. Shout out to 100 of you. I believe that in a year's time, we're going to have thousands. I really believe that. I believe in this show. I believe in my wife. I believe in everything that we're doing here. I believe in you guys. And so I do strongly believe that someday we're going to have a huge voice. And not that we don't already, but these community highlights can make a real big difference. And I want to try to stay true to it as much as possible. So a community highlight that I want to mention this time around is, if I may, a friend of mine. So huge shout out to all the biases and all the selfishness of all of us, because what's a community highlight if it's not a selfish, biased one? I want to shout out, and let me not take anything away from this man and his family. I want to give a huge shout out to my boy, It's B Ya Dig. It's B Ya Dig. Very similar to last week's Mama Kush. I want to give a shout out because this man and his wife have been so kind to myself, Rob, and Chris, and from the stash as a whole. When we rolled up in California, when we were running, we went to California, we ran into them. They were so awesome, so wicked, so down to earth. They didn't scare me even a little bit because, man, they were so warming and the vibes were just on point. When we started From the Stash, you guys might not know this, but From the Stash has interviewed Tommy Chong, has interviewed Jay Chandasankar. We have interviewed Jinx Proof. We have interviewed some real incredible people. What you might not even know about that is that It's B Ya Dig got us the interviews for all three of those guys. Yeah, It's B Ya Dig went out of his way to go and help out myself, Rob, and Chris in our mission and our cause. The least that I can do is give this man a shout out because he has done nothing but try to help us out, and he has sank some of the biggest interviews of my life. So thank you, It's B Ya Dig. Thank you, It's Mrs. B Ya Dig. You guys are beautiful. I wish nothing but the best from you. We showed off. This is It's B Ya Dig's Twitch stream. This guy is live early in the mornings, Eastern time. No, correction, Pacific time, and always running the morning show over on Twitch. Go, please check him out. Mrs. P, did you load the chat with a link, if you wouldn't mind, for that website or that channel? It'd be much appreciated if you guys went over there and showed some love, and we sent some quality members of our community over there to join his, because you won't be disappointed. My friends, that's it. This was another Wednesday night live show, another Tea with P. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for being here. I want you guys to remember to smile lots, all right? If you're chasing your dreams, I want you to give it everything you got. If you're stumbling, if you're going through a rough time, I want you to remember that pain is inevitable. Struggle is an option. Don't stay focused on the negative. Try to focus on the positive, even on your worst times, because what you might be forgetting is that you're surrounded by incredible people, incredible positivity, and finding that inspiration just might not be as far as you think. So, smile lots because it looks great on you. Thank you guys for tuning in. One more time, huge shout out to everybody who's on my Patreon. I love you guys. Thank you guys. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/pigeons420. Come check me out live over on Twitch, twitch.tv/pigeons420. I also have a merch store. You can find that in the links below if you want to get yourself the latest. I'm actually wearing merch from my local head shop. Shout out to my local head shop. It's the best one in town. Shout out to Seedsman for sponsoring the show. Thank you for AC Infinity. Thank you for Spider Farmer. Thank you to you guys. Thank you to the gifted memberships by TWP Popcorn earlier. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to get out of here, guys. Peace out.